So I've got this image here of four very happy looking people shouting for team, and this kind of miserable looking dude that I want to basically place in the foreground. And I'm going to show you how to blend him in using Generative Fill without impacting too much of the image. So the way it works is I've got this guy selected. I'm going to go to Select Subject. If you don't know how to cut people out, if you don't get the result you want this way, I will leave a link in the description below on how to cut out objects and people. But I've got him selected, and I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, head to my image, and I'm going to paste him in. Edit, Paste. So he's in there. He looks pretty unimpressed. I'm going to resize him a little bit and just kind of pop him in position. Now, if I zoom in, there's some little haloing going on here around the edges. You can see how he doesn't quite blend in naturally. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to my layers panel over here. I'm going to hit Control or Command if you're on Mac and select him. And I don't really need to do much from here. I just need to expand a tiny bit. I go to Select, Modify, Expand, and I put 1 pixel in there so the selection is slightly larger than the image itself. The next step is I actually do want to kind of not have it impact the inside of the image. So what I'm going to do is hold Control and Alt or Command and Option on Mac, click again to deselect him, and now you can see you get this very thin selection. If I go to my quick mask, it's very, very subtle, this selection. Exit quick mask. You don't need to go into quick mask, I just wanted to demonstrate. But now I kind of want it to cut in and fix up some of those issues. So I go to Select, Modify, and Expand. And you're going to have to work out how many pixels you think is best to sort of cut into. I'm going to say about probably, we'll go 3 pixels. And you can see how it's kind of cut just into the edge of the image. In many ways, that actually might be a bit much. I can hit Control Z or go to Edit and Undo. And I'm going to go Select, Modify, and Expand by, say, maybe 2 pixels. Now, selection doesn't cut into him as much then, because sometimes it can mess the details if you cut in too deep or not deep enough. But we've got a nice sort of even selection around him. But before we go ahead, there might be some areas you want to select. There's a bit of a glow on the beard here. I grab my lasso tool, hold down Shift, and I'll just select that. And then I just review the image. There's a green glow on the side of the glasses here. I don't think that's a big issue. A little bit of green glow on the hair, so I can hold down Shift and select into the hair a bit. And I just want to check the image for any other weird sort of glows. Now you'll notice his hand gets cut off here. So what I need to do is I hold down my lasso tool. I'm going to go straight down, and I'm just going to add a bit of space for the hand and the sleeve. So you can see I've got a little bit extra here, a little bit extra on the beard, a little bit extra on the hair. And that's how we can select in a very minimal way, and we can automate some of those edges so we're not losing too much of the actual image. So now I go down here to Generative Fill. I leave this completely blank and I hit Generate. And you'll see it's generated around the edge. Now it's not always perfect, but you do get some options to choose from. His ear looks a bit funny in this one. This one probably looks about the best. Hand looks decent. Overall, I think that's going to be the one that works for us. And if I take this image, I turn it off, you can see how the edges blend a little bit more subtly. His ear is actually a little bit bigger. But the good news about this is if I turn that back on, I can also make some adjustments. There was still a bit of a halo around the ear, but it wasn't enough to impact the image. So if there's anything you think you can get away from, click on the mask, grab your paintbrush, make sure black is on the left and that your brush isn't too big. We can actually size it down a bit more. If you want to, you can just turn off that particular section if you don't want the ear to change. But the highlight in his beard is better. This ear we could probably actually remove as well, although we still get that halo, so I'll click undo. We'll leave that one as is. But you can see how we're actually able to very quickly select the edges and blend them in. It's always going to be harder with faces, but when it comes to clothing, shoulders and things like that, it's a very quick and effective process, and you may need to get a little bit more manual with ears. But again, like I said, we can actually just remove that. And then maybe we actually just adjust the image itself. So I can add a mask to this image, get a much finer paintbrush, and just kind of remove that. But otherwise the hair, the shoulders, and everything has been automated, and that's a pretty good result. So I hope that video was useful to you. I hope that helped you sort of speed up that process and gave you a few sort of simple click methods to do that without having to get too manual. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I've got more Photoshop and generative fill tutorials on my channel, so check that out. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day and talk to you again soon.